Welcome again everyone. In this video we will solve C++ questions from June and December 2019 NET exam. Our first question is, which of the following statements are true regarding C++? Our first statement is, overloading gives the capability to an existing operator to operate on other data types. This is true. This is the functionality of overloading. Next statement is, inheritance in object-oriented programming provides support to reusability. Now this statement is also true. We use inheritance for reusability. Next statement is, when object of a derived class is defined, first the constructor of the derived class is executed, then constructor of a base class is executed. Now this statement is incorrect. If you have watched our MCQs video on constructor and destructor, then you already know why this statement is incorrect. You can find the link of that video in the description box. Let me brief you. Say this is our base class and this is our derived class. Now, whenever an object of a derived class is defined, first the constructor of base class will be called and then constructor of derived class will be called. So it will be like base then derived. But whenever we talk about destructor, then destructor of derived class will be called first and then destructor of base class will be called. So always to remember, this will be our sequence. In case of constructor, first base class then derived class, but in case of destructor, role will be reversed. So statement C is incorrect. And last statement is, overloading is a type of polymorphism. This is true. So among these four statements, A, B and D are correct. Only statement C is incorrect. So let us see our option. Let us see our options. Option A is A and B only. Incorrect. Option B is A, B and C. Again no. Option C is A, B and D. Yes, only these three statements are correct. So right option will be option C. Next question is, let A be the base class in C++ and B be the derived class from A with protected inheritance. Which of the following statement is false for class B? Now this is our class A. This is our base class and this is class B. That is our derived class. Now we are using protected inheritance. We all know that in case of protected inheritance, public and protected members of base class will become protected members of class B or derived class. So let us see our options. Option A is, member function of class B can access protected data of class A. Yes, because protected data of base class is inherited in derived class. So member function of derived class can access protected data of class A. Next statement is, member function of class B can access public data of class A. This is also true, because member function of derived class can access both public and protected data of base class. Option C is, member function of class B cannot access private data of class A. Now this is also true. Private members or private data of class A is inherited but not accessible. Last statement is, object of derived class B can access public base class data. Now this is incorrect. Why is it so? Now see, member function of class B can access public and protected data, but object of derived class B, say if we are creating an object, say OB of class B, then it cannot access public and protected data of A, because that data is inherited as protected data in B. Protected members in a class are similar to private members as they cannot be accessed from outside the class. So object of B cannot access protected data, but members of B can access protected data. So among these four options, A, B and C are correct. Only option D is incorrect. And in the given question, we have to tell which statement is false. So right answer will be option D. Object of derived class B can access public base class data. This is incorrect. This is our last question. This is programming problem. Consider the following C++ function. Now we are given a function f with argument unsigned int n. Then in the function, this is the body of the function. This is variable b, which is initialized as 0. Then we have a loop while n. In the loop, we have two statements, b plus equals to n and 1. Now here this AND is bitwise AND. Then we have right shift operator. And at the end of this function, we have to return the value of b. Now what is our question? The function f returns the integer that represents the dash in the binary representation of positive integer n. Now all we have to tell is what will be the value of b. So let us take n equals to 4. Fine. Now this n is unsigned integer. So usually unsigned integer is stored in either 2 bytes or 4 bytes format. For the sake of simplicity, we are taking 2 bytes format. Then we have a variable b equals to 0. In the loop, we have while n. That means unless n equals to 0, this loop will execute. In the loop, our statement is b plus equals to n and 1. This is bitwise AND operator. Bitwise AND. Then we will add that value in b. So our first step is to find bitwise AND between n and 1. For this, first we need to represent n in binary format. So binary format for n equals to 4 will be this. Here you can see last 3 bits are 100. This represents number 4 in decimal digit. This is n equals to 4. Next we will represent 1 in binary format. This is 1. Then we have to do AND between these two numbers. We know that we will get 1 in case of AND only if both operands are 1. So here you can see 0, 1, we will get 0, then 0, 1, 0, 0, and all values will be 0. So AND of 4 and 1 will be 0. So value of n and 1 will be 0, 0 plus 0, because we have to add the value of n and 1 in b. So 0 plus 0 will be 0. So b will remain same. Value of b will be 0 after first iteration. Next we have to shift n by 1. We have to apply right shift operator. Right shift means we will shift this n by 1 bit in right side. So it will become this. This last 0 will be discarded and 1 0 will be appended on the left hand side. So now this will become n equals to 2. Now at this point, first iteration is complete. Again we will check condition in while loop. While n. Now value of n is 2. So our condition is true. We will enter the loop. Again our first statement in loop is do bitwise AND between n and 1. Now value of n is 2. This is our 1 and we have to perform bitwise AND between 2 and 1. So just do the AND operation and you can see that again we will get 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. We will get 0. Again we will add this 0 in B. 0 plus 0, again 0. So there is no change. Next statement in loop is right shift operator. Now we will apply this right shift operator on n equals to 2. Again we will shift on right side by 1 bit. So this 0 will be discarded and 1 0 will be appended on the left hand side. So this will become like this. And we all know that if we are doing right shift operator by 1, then we are dividing a number by 2, right? So after this we will get value of n equals to 1. Again we will apply AND operator. We will get 1. Here you can see 1, 1 will be 1 and all other bits will be 0. Now at the end of this operation, n bitwise AND 1, we will get 1. Value of B was 0. 0 plus 1 will be 1. Now value of B is 1. Now at the end of this statement, we have B equals to 1. Our next statement in the loop is right shift operator. Now if we apply right shift operator on n equals to 1, we will get 0. Because rightmost 1 will be discarded and 0 will be appended on the left hand side. So we will get 0. Now at the end of this iteration, we have n equals to 0. Again we will check our condition while n. Now n equals to 0, so condition will be false. We will exit from this loop and at the end of this loop we have returned B. Now value of B is 1. So for n equals to 4, we have B equals to 1. Now what does it represent? We cannot find it out. We will take one more value of n and see what will be our value of B. Now take one more example. Say n equals to 6. Initially B is equals to 0. This is given in the question. Now we will move to our while loop. While n value of n is 6, so condition is true. We will enter in the loop. Our first statement is B equals to B plus n and 1. We will do bitwise AND between n equals to 6 and 1. Now binary representation for n equals to 6 is this one, 1, 1, 0. N equals and 1 binary representation of 1 and this is binary representation of 6. Now do the AND operation. When we do AND operation, we will get 0. So 0 plus 0 will be 0. So there is no change in the value of B. Next statement in this loop is right shift operator. Now we have to apply right shift operator on this n equals to 6. We will get this one, that is n equals to 3, right? Because right shift operator by 1 bit will divide a number by 2. Again we will do the AND operation. Now if we do AND operation, we will get 1 at the end. So this will be the output of bitwise AND between n equals to 3 and 1. Now 0 plus 1 will be 1. So value of B is 1 at this point. Again we will do right shift operation. Now shift n equals to 3 by 1. We will get this, that is 1. Done. Again do the AND operation between n equals to 1 and 1. We will get 1. This is simple. Just pause the video, do it yourself. All we have to do is first find bitwise AND between n and 1. Then whatever will be the output of bitwise AND, add that output in B. That is, first convert that output in decimal number, then add that number in B. So initially value of B was 1. After this operation, again we will get 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. So in second iteration, value of b will become 2. Now what will be the value of n? Again do the right shift operation on this n. Now this is value of n, that is 1. When we apply right shift operation, we will get 0 at the end. Now after second iteration, value of n is 0, value of b is 2. When value of n is 0, there will be no third iteration. So we will exit from this loop and return the value of b. Now in this case, when we have n equals to 6, value of b is 2. For n equals to 4, value of b is 1. Now if you analyze the whole process, you can see that b represents the number of ones in binary representation of n. Now see, for n equals to 4, its binary representation is 1, 0, 0, right? For this, we are getting b equals to 1. That is number of ones in binary representation of 4. For n equals to 6, its binary representation is 1, 1, 0. And we are getting b as 2. That is also the number of ones in binary representation of n. So what is b representing? It represents number of ones in binary representation of n. This program might look complicated, but if you just take your time, do it yourself, you can easily solve this question. So that is all for today. I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you all.